A lot of clients ask me this question. It comes up frequently, and so I wanted to address it so there are no questions left. Hi, I'm Anna Harris, personal trainer and nutrition coach, and the founder of FitEatRest.com. And today I'm going to talk about labels. That's right, the labels that we read when we buy something packaged. Why do we read labels? First of all, because they keep us informed. If you have an allergy, you need to look on the label to know that it doesn't contain any of the allergens that might be dangerous for you. If you're a diabetic, you need to look at the carbohydrate content on foods. If you're working on increasing muscle, you need to make sure you're getting enough protein, so you want to look at the amount of protein in the packaging. And if you want to lose weight or you're counting macros, you need to know what the amounts are for protein, carbs, and fat. Okay? And labels help you make better informed shopping decisions. For example, let's look at these two pasta sauces. This is Rao's Homemade, one of my favorite brands. This is vodka sauce, a pasta sauce. This pasta sauce, I look on the package and it has 310 milligrams of sodium, all right? Here's another brand. This is Bertolli and this is marinara, traditional marinara. If I look at this package, it says that it has, where's the sodium? 490 milligrams of sodium. So let's say I have high blood pressure. My goal is to reduce the blood pressure, and one of the ways to do it is to reduce your sodium content. So I will be looking for a lower sodium content, and I would pick the pasta sauce that has lower sodium. Okay, so you're making the decisions that are important for your health. Labels also ensure transparency. Manufacturers have to put exactly what's on the label in the food, but keep in mind, it's not all countries. It's USA, it's Canada, it's New Zealand and Australia, and it's South Korea, but not any of the others. So let's say you buy something that's made in Switzerland. It might be delicious and amazing, but it's not the exact content on the package, not exact transparency you would get in those countries I mentioned earlier. So in the other countries, it's up to the manufacturer to list. And so if you buy that food, you have to keep that in mind, okay? If there's no oversight, there's no guarantee. And that especially affects people that are allergic to something, because that doesn't have to be listed on the packaging. So keep that in mind. Now, your best resource for any nutritional information would be USDA nutrient database, and I will add a link below to this video. This database includes close to 8,000 different foods, and it's partially updated each year. They have a limited budget, just like any government entity, right? And it only has 60 to 70 products that are tested each year. Then they get information from the food industry, and obviously there's limited budget, limited time, so they can't test everything. So they go to 12 different grocers and test 3 or 4 samples. This is why when you see generic on the packaging, that's what it means, because they can't test every single store, every type of food, right? So that's why you see generic. And they measure macronutrients to get calorie counts. Most companies reporting ingredient information use in-house lab testing, but you have to be a company that makes at least 100,000 a year to have to list anything. Otherwise, you don't. Now, let's look at the packaging. Let's look at the serving size. Serving size, first of all, is all about perspective. All the information provided on the label is consistent with the specified serving size. And serving size is really more about ideal consumption than actual consumption. And packaging influences that consumption, whether you have a bigger bowl or a smaller plate, that will affect how many servings you will use. and calories are listed based on the serving size. So do you consume a single serving? Most likely no. If you look at soda, for example, typical serving listed is 12 ounces, but if you get a bottle of soda, it would be 20 ounces, right? So how many people are going to stop at 60% of the bottle? Most people are just going to drink the bottle if you drink it. So if you're looking at those counts, at the calories or carbs, you want to multiply it by the amount in the package. Okay, remember that. So here, I'll give you an example with soup. Here's Progresso Italian style wedding soup, popular in my house. So nutrition facts, okay? 2 servings per container. I don't like how it says about 2 servings, but I understand that's the reality. Let's assume 2 servings. Serving size is 1 cup. So if you're getting 1 cup, you're getting 120 calories per serving. You're getting 690 milligrams of sodium. You're getting 15 grams of carbs, including no added sugar, okay? You're getting 6 grams of protein. Fat was the first one, I missed it, 3.5 grams of fat, including 1 gram of saturated fat, okay? That's 1 serving. But you most likely are just gonna have a can of soup, so that's 2 servings, so everything is multiplied by 2, which means you're going to get 1,510 milligrams of sodium, you're gonna get 33 grams of carbs, and you're gonna get 12 grams of protein. So you gotta keep that in mind, what you're actually consuming versus what is in a serving size. And make a decision based on what is important to you, okay? Whether you're looking for reducing something or whether you're looking to add protein, things like that. And percent daily value also contributes to your daily diet, right? Some things are listed, you have grams, but you also have percent daily value. And percent is important because if something is 5% or less, that is a minimal amount of that ingredient in the product. If it's 20% or more, then it's a pretty high amount. So here, if I look at sodium, for example, even in a single serving, it's 30%. So you know there's a lot of sodium in it. The whole can would be 66%. So that's a pretty high amount. On the other hand, if you're looking at, let's look at fat. For a single serving, it's 5, so it's borderline. For the whole can would be 10%. So that's a little bit on the higher end. But all in all, some of the things you look at in grams only, like protein, and 12 grams is a nice amount of protein for 1 soup, okay? So let's actually talk about those macronutrients. Let's talk about fat, carbs, and protein. Those are your macronutrients. Those are the ones your body needs the most in a day. So let's start with fat. Okay, so according to the American Nutrition and Dietetics Association, you need 20 to 35% of fat out of all calories per day. We need that fat for absorption of some fat-soluble vitamins, and you need it for your brain function. Lots of processes in the body require fat. So don't fear all fat. However, there is saturated and unsaturated fat. So saturated fat is stable at room temperature. And so think about what it does to your arteries, right? So it's gonna get solid just like that in your arteries. So it's gonna form plaque. And you don't want that because that leads to heart disease and other unfavorable outcomes. So that's saturated fat. And you want to reduce it. You want to have 5% or less in whatever food you're eating. So for example, the soup has 1 gram of saturated fat, which is 6% of total, and for the whole package, 2.5 grams, which is 13% of total. So it's a little bit on the higher end. So I'll probably pick one that has a lower amount of saturated fat. On the other hand, unsaturated fat is liquid at room temperature, and it's actually really beneficial to you. You can find it in things like olive oil, avocado, and fish, among others, and seeds like chia seed. So that is heart healthy fat, and especially great for monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. So that's really great for you. Trans fat, on the other hand, is something definitely to watch out because it never leaves your system, and it's been banned since 2018, but still some minimal amounts you can find in products, and it still has to be listed if it's 0.5 grams in the product. So yeah, so try to get more foods with unsaturated fat and avoid or reduce saturated, right? 5% or less. But also keep in mind, even good fat you can get a lot of, because fat is the most calorically dense nutrient. So you'll get more calories out of it. So you can eat good fats and gain weight as well. So just really watch out for the total amounts. All right, carbs are next. And complex carbs are better for diabetics, but foods high in fiber are better for everyone. Better digestion, it reduces cholesterol, and the goal for the day is 25 to 30 grams. Most people, however, get about 15. So we don't get a lot of fiber in our diet, and fiber is really a great fighter against cholesterol, high cholesterol. So foods that are highest in fiber would be obviously vegetables, beans, lentils, but also whole grains you can find in a lot of packaged form. Higher sugar, however, negates some of the fiber benefits. So really watch for that, because simple sugars are going to raise your triglyceride levels. And watch for added sugars. You can look at the packaging and you can see how much sugars is typically listed under the carb content. And you can see how much sugar is in the product, but the manufacturers are also required to list added sugar. So for example, in this pasta sauce, total sugars are 7 grams, including 2 grams of added sugar, which is 3%. And as you know, below 5, it's a pretty low amount, so I wouldn't worry about that. But watch for the ones that have higher than 20%. Okay, finally, protein. You need at least 100 grams of protein a day. Protein helps repair all your cells. It's often called a building block because it makes up the structure of important components of our body, including muscle. So you need at least 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. And if you're an active person, 1.2 to 2 grams per kilogram of weight. For example, an active woman that weighs 180 pounds, it's about 80 kilograms, would require 100 to 160 grams of protein per day. So that is an important factor. You can calculate what you need by just getting your weight in kilograms and multiplying that by 0.8, or if you are more active, 1 or 1.2. So you get the right amount of protein, and you can rebuild that muscle and improve your body composition. So prioritize protein, especially for weight loss, because when you lose weight, you won't lose muscle mass, right? You will improve your body composition. Some good sources of protein: chicken, fish, eggs, beans, lentils. You can also find protein powders if you prefer to add protein that way. You can also get it from yogurt and tofu. So some of those packaged ingredients, read the labels and look for 20% or more of protein, or just higher amounts of grams, so you get to your 100, 160, or whatever that amount is for you. Okay, finally, last ingredients listed on the package would be vitamins and minerals. Look at the percent daily value. right? So the more, the better. For example, the soup has 15% of potassium. That's kind of nice. So all the vitamins, all the minerals really help your immune system. They protect against cognitive decline, and they give you energy. So all of us, a lot of us get some vitamins in pill form, but it's always better to get it from fresh sources, right? From real food. Your body's going to absorb it better. Finally, let's talk about the order of ingredients. So the ingredients, so there's a nutrition facts label, but then there are also new ingredients listed. And typically it's listed under, but it kind of depends on the packaging, right? So more prevalent ingredients are listed first, and then kind of scaling down from there. And the allergy information would be listed below in the US or some of the other countries that list that. Also look at the amount of ingredients, okay? The more ingredients, the more processed. Everything is a little bit processed to some degree, so I'm not against that, and I don't think anybody is, it's the reality. But like even your oatmeal, processed. But look at the amount. Like if you have a list that looks like an encyclopedia of things, including words that you can't pronounce, then I probably wouldn't pick that. Okay, so look for fewer ingredients, which means it's less processed and closer to more whole foods. And stay informed by reading the list. Look at what ingredients are front and center. If it's something that maybe is claimed as a high protein food, but the first ingredient is water, I'd probably question that. So be smart about reading the labels. One thing that I know a lot of people struggle with is safety information. And that's important, okay? We don't want to eat anything expired, and we want to eat the foods that taste better. So how do you know which is which? How do you read those best before dates? So if it says use by, so let's look this, use by, it means food safety, right? So if something has to be used by a certain date, it means if you don't use it by that date and use it after, it's probably unsafe to eat. It's going to be spoiled. But if it's best before, as an example of this pasta sauce, January of 27, January 12, 27, that means it's going to taste good before that date. After that date, maybe it's not going to taste as good, but it's still going to be safe to eat, okay? Because it's not used by. So best before, best by. Best means like taste, okay? Used by means safety. So remember that. Organic ingredients have been really prevalent these days. People love that. It's better processes for you. We're all watching out for all the extras that are added that we don't want to consume because they may lead to cancer and other diseases. But how do you read organic ingredients? Because there are a lot of big claims, and you need to know, right? You need to be empowered to know how to read them best. So if something is listed as 100% organic, that means it is 100% organic. If something is listed just organic, that means it's 95% organic. Still very good in my book. If something is listed as made with organic ingredients, means it's 70% organic, which is still pretty nice, right? But you're educated when you know what these differences are. And finally, if something is listed as natural, it just means it's free of synthetic and artificial ingredients. So that's something to keep in mind if you care about how that your food is not grown with pesticides, herbicides, added hormones, and antibiotics. So if that is important to you, then look for those organic labels. 100% organic ideal, but organic is a little less, and made with organic ingredients a little less. Because manufacturers put big claims on the packaging. Sometimes I see foods that are listed as gluten-free, but it's something that would not even have any gluten by nature. It's just impossible. but they know people look for that, so they put those labels. So be smart and read the actual information on the label and the actual ingredients. So that's about labels, but you know what? It's really great to reduce your dependence on labels. It would be nice. And you do that by eating fresh ingredients first, because they give you the maximum value, and just start shopping around the perimeter. So you're buying your fruits and vegetables first, and you can buy frozen as well. Frozen is as good as fresh. It's packed at the peak of freshness, and it's probably more convenient and cheaper to store, right? So don't be afraid to use that. And also cut up fruits and veggies are great, because sometimes you just don't have time or energy to cut them up. Now, fewer ingredients means also less confusion and less time reading labels. So when you look at something, just make sure it's something with few ingredients as possible, and it will be healthier for you and it will be faster for you. And plan what you're going to buy, because that will help you, again, make better decisions. You can also go beyond the label and keep it real and just focus on quality foods, more whole, more unprocessed foods, and prioritize those ingredients over calories. So that's it. That's all about labels. If you still have any questions left, please reach out to me. You can either comment on this video or you can write to me at fiteatrest@gmail.com. And as a longtime nutrition coach and personal trainer, I would love to help your goals, whether it's to stay more informed or reduce blood sugar or lower weight or just get stronger and increase muscle mass. So if you want to train with me or work on some nutrition habits, please reach out to fiteatrest@gmail.com. You can email me and put reading labels or labels in your subject line, and then you can save $50 off your first month of coaching. That's it. I'm Anna Harris. Have a great day.